what were your thoughts about NES when I first introduced it to you? Like when I was first showing you NES?
So my first thoughts about NES was, in one word, it was hope. Because when I went to Wendy, I was in a pretty miserable state. I had a couple months before had gone to a betrayal and a breakup of a committed relationship. And then it kind of started affecting a lot of areas of my life where life had become hard and I was having challenges really taking care of kind of the daily tasks of what you take for granted, and actually had started experiencing significant challenges also at work, and my performance started suffering. I also have a 7-year-old son, and I had to one day. I was sitting there. I work for corporate America, and I was working on a couple of deliverables for executives, on a presentation, and I was pretty much spacing out, and I was having anxiety attacks. At the point where I understood that I have to do something, and I left work, went to the doctor. I got prescribed three major medications, one of them being anti-anxiety medication, one of them being an antidepressant, and what I believe was the third one was an adrenaline blocker. So, needless to say, I was scared, and then I emailed Wendy before taking or filling any of the prescriptions, saying, I need help. This is what's happening. I can't go back to work. I'm in a really bad condition. And you told me about NES. And I was in because I really had nothing to lose. It was hope, really.
And so tell me about your experience in the first 30 days of NES. You did a scan, you started the infoceuticals. What kind of improvements did you experience?
So in the first 30 days of NES, I would say it was probably in the 30 to 40 day mark, because I'm continuing the program. But what I can compare it to is really the state that I was in when I started it. And it was pretty hopeless and scary. I didn't want to take a shower. I had trouble. I was out of work. I had trouble coping with, getting my son ready, getting him to school, getting his breakfast, getting his lunch. And I would take him to school, even be late several days in the mornings when I really had nothing else to, I didn't have to get ready for work myself. I didn't have to take a shower. And I would come back and go to bed. And before that, if I was this accomplished professional kind of type A personality, my mental state, my motivation was below zero. My mental clarity I was completely spaced out, and it was a scary state. And after a month to 40-day range, I started the mental clarity and the mental aspect starting to come back. And also, I think what I saw in addition to the mental clarity is also the physical aspect, because the other aspect of what I was experiencing was extreme fatigue. Like I literally could not get out of bed. I couldn't take half a mile walk. Like all of the activities in the past that I used to find enjoyable, like yoga, and I was pretty much diagnosed with major depressive episode. And even, I was so scared. And like fast forward 30, 40 days on NAS, I have my back to work date set. I'm so excited. I have hope back, so I'm not scared of everything anymore. And the clarity is it's kind of amazing, because the relationship that ended and that kind of propelled me in this extreme sadness and grief reaction, I think that was the biggest contributor. the person tried to come back into my life. And instead of that, I don't know, you probably can relate sometimes when you get into this analysis paralysis circles and all your friends are sick of hearing about this and all your friends see how he's the wrong person and what are you even doing talking about it. And I finally had the clarity to end it, to be done with it, not continue any communication and how much of a distraction it is. And now I'm so committed to the vision of my life. Like I'm getting more clarity every day. I think it's been about a month and a half now. I'm on my round 2 of NES. And also my physical is starting to come back. So I'm reintroducing yoga, walking. So I'm just so excited.
Yeah, so tell me, have you had any kind of detox symptoms or any kind of negative or weird things that you've experienced while on NES?
The detox symptoms that I have experienced is probably the biggest one that I felt physically is occasional vertigo or kind of the feeling that you use something, but you know you haven't, and you kind of your head is spinning. But I don't know if it's NES or if it's detoxing, the metals or all the other, other crap that's in our bodies. So that's what I've noticed is kind of it's on and off.
And what would you say to someone that was considering doing NES and were maybe kind of like on the fence? What would you say to them?
If somebody is on the fence about considering NES, I can only base it on my experience. I have been on this crazy, trying all kinds of. So let me back up. I started my health journey shortly. I had my son. I was 27 at the time. So that would be about 7, 8 years ago. And I've tried starting from vegan to vegetarian to raw foods, now to paleo. I've tried targeted supplementation. For me, maybe my health, something was thrown off really bad at some point of time, and I still don't know what it was. But I tried all the testing, and it's a pretty tough and lengthy road. And the improvement, and the money that I've spent along the way on supplements, on organic foods, on grass-fed beef and wild-caught salmon. So the improvement and this last debacle with the depression, the improvement I felt is I feel like it's miraculous, and I have put my son on it. So I'm definitely going to stick with it. So if I can share my story and it helps somebody, that's great. I literally want to put all my family on it. But you can take the easy road or the lengthier road. And if your health issues maybe are not as severe and the diet works, that's great, but it didn't work for me. So I'm so thankful that I found this and that you knew about it.